Hey guys, I'm live. It takes me a little minute. Sorry for my lighting. I'm sitting here watching the CNN program about Watergate. So it got me in the mode. Anyway, so here are some questions that I came up with, and we haven't been able to receive answers in Angelina County, but there's been current events that we thought today we would get some answers for, but it hasn't been the case. So I'm going to bring up some issues. I'm going to be addressing this to the commissioners, everybody in government that I know of that have an email address. I'm sending it out. Matter of fact, tomorrow, a good portion of tomorrow, I will be sending these emails out and answering phone calls or making phone calls. Anyway, when you go to commissioners' meetings, there's only 3 minutes. Nobody listens to you. You can't get your points across, and you get no answers. And so I thought maybe this might be a better approach to get the questions out there that we are asking, so our commissioners can actually provide some kind of substance to what we're seeing as citizens and why these questions aren't answered. Some of these may be haphazard. I don't mean to overlink, but here we go. Many of you have seen me make a video on the Tyler Lopez case. Tyler Lopez is not the only one on the case. However, the fact is it's been 2 years now, and he has not been able, well, he's actually had one trial, but for the trial that he's actually been accused of, he has not been assigned a court date. You would think after 2 years that the district attorney would get on it and get these people at the trial and move on to our system. So let me explain to you the scenario. Recusal or judicial misconduct is looked up. It's under 2.11. You just look up judicial conduct and put 2.11. It'll show you the reasons why a judge needs to recuse himself and or a lawyer needs to recuse himself. In this case, it provides for the fact is that during this case, Mr. Lopez's bail was set at an ungodly amount of $500,000, and it was done by Jimmy Castles. I challenge each and every one of you to look through the court records and find out that he is or has been involved in the case, and he has his signature on documents that are actually in this case. He's a court judge. Hey, things come up against it. Things come up all the time. However, the fact is that you take in mind that the court, Mr. Enzelman, signed off on the bail, and it was requested by the DA that the bail be set that high. So what does our DA have to do? Well, our DA is Miss Janet Castles. So now you have a conflict of interest because you have a sitting judge who assigns bail to a case that the district attorney is going to prosecute. And then you have a judge who is fully aware of this situation and who allows it. You have a judge to allow this to go on for 2 years. You have a judge who sets bail just out of reach so the individual cannot afford bail. Then you throw in the fact is that his lawyer, Mr. Tatum, who is assigned to his case, stopped working on his case because they have no trial date set. The second charge is involvement in criminal activity. Matter of fact, this is some kind of charge you charge the mafia with. The DA actually even said, "Oh, this is a RICO case." My God, here in Lufkin, you got a RICO case. And that may be true. However, the fact is you still got to prove it. And when you can't prove it, and you continue to go back in court and you ask the judge for continuance and the judge continues the trial, then you have parameters where a judge actually has the authority to continue the trial. Number one, there's a death in the family. Number two, there's a sickness in the family where you're required as an attorney to be there and monitor the health of a loved one. In other words, they're just not giving out. I mean, you just don't do a continuance. The judge comes in and says, you know what, this case has been on my docket for 2 years. Somebody needs to put up or shut up, or I'm going to be dismissing the case. Because the fact is that you're clogging up my pipeline. Yes, who's responsible for setting the court dates? Judge Engelman. Judge Engelman is actually responsible as a judge to look at his docket and see the amount of cases that he has so they can schedule his document accordingly. I attended 2 weeks ago. I went and attended the court because Mr. Lopez was supposed to have a hearing. One of the subjects was to dismiss the case. However, the fact is that nobody met in court that day. Why? Well, because the fact is that they had scheduled a court. They had scheduled a hearing. They had scheduled a jury trial, and they continued this day. And jury wasn't meeting. They settled it yesterday. So guess what? We don't have trial on Friday. We pushed all those cases that we had scheduled for Friday back to an umpteen time. The trial, those missed dates have never been reset. So you see where I'm going with this? We create our own problem with our judicial system because we do not follow the law. Speedy trial is in the Constitution. Granted, many lawyers will tell you to get a speedy trial, you have to continually ask for it because it's not automatically granted. Mr. Lopez has asked for a speedy trial 7 times. 7 times, and has been denied every one of them. At this case, we have a year ago, we charged the district attorney charged our 21 indictments on the sitting judge, Judge Limberly, and 2 other commissioners. They're going to trial on the 26th of this month. A year later. Can everybody see the problem here? I'm for law and order. I am, but I've got to stand up as a citizen and say, where are you initiating the Constitution? Does the Constitution actually apply to Angelina County? And who can step on that Constitution and get away with it? Our district attorney's office has a conflict of interest with the sitting judge. That's it. We accept that. They see no conflict of interest. Okay, how about a judge signing off on bail on a case that you're going to hear? Knowing that the DA doesn't want this person out on bail, because the fact is, you know what? We're going to let him sit in jail and stew for a while and see if he does a plea bargain. See if he's forcing a plea bargain. Really? Really? This is who we are now. Second thing is on Friday evening, I think I put a video out in this, but this video is going to go out to a lot more people. But we had an individual who passed away in the county jail. Our sitting sheriff came out and just put it in the paper that this is the timeline and this is what happened, whatever. No evidence, no showing of anything, no press conference, no nothing. Cause of death was not determined. The toxicology report has not been produced. We don't even know if there's going to be an autopsy done. Anyway, a man was jailed. He died on Friday. We still don't know the cause, and we still don't know who's doing the investigation. Probably the Texas Rangers. And they've got a good reputation in Angelina County and Nacogdoches County, don't they? This is the second death of an inmate in Angelina County jail. One was back in 2020. The family settled for $475,000. Why $475,000? Because anything over $475,000, our insurance would not pay. We would have to pay out of our pocket. Good thing for us taxpayers, right? However, the fact is, it doesn't get down to the problem. Why are people dying in our jails? What happened between 9:30 and 9:45? Can we see the police report? Here's the kicker. If you look up the address of, and I think I have it written down here. If you look up the address of where this individual was arrested. He was actually on Sayre Street. Okay, 1200 block of Sayre Street. If you look down the street to 1700 Sayre Street, there's a clinic. There's a clinic there. Was it operational? No one knows. But if this individual is in some kind of personal stress and he's on the Sayre Street, you think he possibly might have been going to the clinic? And there's a possibility that the individual couldn't make the clinic and was sitting there and was having a different episode besides intoxication that caused this? I'm not saying the guy wasn't drunk. I'm not saying he wasn't drinking. I'm not saying that, but we don't know if he was drunk or not. And if he was drinking, did it cause another problem? The police officers should have checked for it, and they didn't. I'm wanting to see that police report. However, the fact is, all the documentation that we need to receive on this it's under a current investigation. It will drag out another year. Hopefully there'll not be another death in Angelina County jail. And this is a jail that was non-compliant. They were just inspected. We don't know the report if they were found compliant or non-compliant. It doesn't make any difference, because if they were found compliant, there's still somebody died in your jail. Citizens of Angelina County need to know what the hell's going on in our jail. We need, and we have every right to know. Our commissioner's court is a circus. Our commissioner's court has no idea the answers. We have roads that are being unpaved. And now we have a pissing contest between everybody that's saying, well, the roads are city or what. I don't care. Fix all the damn roads. Do what you need to do to fix roads. It doesn't do no good to make a good road here and then drop it off and drops off there. There was a lady who just made a video. She had serious car damage because of one of the potholes she hit. It's a dang shame when you have to drive down a road and worry about doing damage to your car. That's not a road. I've seen hunters trails. I've seen logging trails in better shape than I see our roads. And our commissioners are telling us, well, it's going to take 10, 12 years to fix that. Well, I don't know how they get there that way in the first place. So these are the questions that we need answers to. We want to know from somebody of authority, when are you going to step up, get in front of a microphone, have a press conference, and answer these questions by the citizens. You don't do it in your commissioners meeting. We don't get to pick the agenda. And we're avoiding the elephant in the room. Now, for those of you who actually say, well, that's not that bad. We've been dealing with people are dying in our jail. 2 in the last 2 years. Do you think maybe we're entitled to an explanation? People are rotting in our jails waiting for a court date, waiting for representation by attorneys who practice law in our county and are assigned a case, and they don't do anything with it. They just get paid for it. Meanwhile, our DA backlogs cases, and a judge lets them get away with it. How many more cases has Jimmy Castles decided bond on? And did he let the DA know? Was there anything back and forth? I don't know. You're in the same house. Well, you let rest of the you got a bond hearing tomorrow. Who is it? Oh, Lopez. Oh, yeah, I got him charged with this. Okay. No, don't give him 500,000. No, don't give him 100,000. Give him 500,000. I'll make sure I keep him in jail. Could that possibly happen? Why don't we looking into that? Is it too far-fetched that these people would think to that level? I think that Angelina County is finding out with our road situation and with what is going on with our elected officials. I think now we're starting to realize how bad it is. If it's not that bad, please tell us. Please tell us somewhere else to look. What else can possibly be done for the citizens and for our state government to pay attention to Angelina County? Whose heads will roll next to cover up what's actually going on? I am currently fixed on one item, and it is our airport. Why do we spend so much money on our airport? We spent millions of dollars on a fence to keep the deer out. We're spending money on new buildings we don't even have plans for, buildings that are going to they're going to get past the commissioner's court because they tabled it instead of making a decision on it. So we'll table it, we'll get to it whenever. So what's going on in our airport? Ask yourself this question. How many people in Angelina County actually fly out of that airport? Can you name them on two hands? Can you name them on one hand? Why are we spending so much money on an airport? What is so important? Here's the answer I got. Well, we sell fuel. It's a cash cow because we sell fuel. Who we sell the fuel to? Who around here do we sell the fuel to? And that enormous amount that they say that we get. Could it be possibly that airport is being used for other means? Is it possibly that airport could be used for things that we need to cover up? I don't know. Got to do my research on that, but it makes you go, So with this information and with all of this, I've got a list. Crap, I'm putting freedom information request out. You can deny them, Kerry Kirby, all you want to. You won't ever see them. They're going straight to the Attorney General. We are going to have to bypass our elected officials to get anyone to turn their head and look our way. We are going to have to expose them so far that the state of Texas can no longer ignore the situation we have in Angelina County. You think Houston's bad. They just took over their schools. What's next for Angelina County? I don't know. But giving me the answer that it's going to take 8 to 10 years to fix the roads, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying spending any more money on an airport when we have roads we can't even travel on. I don't get it. Neither do citizens. We have questions, and we have to search for the answers because we're not going to get them. It's a blatant fact. Kerry Kirby was responsible for advising these commissioners on what the law was and how they had to follow the law. He failed to do so. Kerry Kirby was pushing for the airport expansion with no documents, no nothing, no sketches, just a picture of a building, and he was pushing to have it approved. Why? And we also want to know what are the terms of the loan that are actually being taken on our property, because we need to know the terms, because we need to analyze whether it's going to default. That loan is going to default enough, and it lands back in our county hands. Ask the right questions, commissioners. I am incapable of bullshit. I really am. I've seen a lot in my time. I'm 60 years old, and I've seen a lot in my time. And I was born and raised here in East Texas, and I know how to spot it when I see it. In Mr. Del Sofino's video, he brought up there was a 90-year-old black woman whose the pavement stopped right at her property. Okay. Insinuated that there may be some kind of racial issue. Well, let me, without naming names, there's a road out here in Huntington, right behind the smoke shop over here. It goes, you can't even travel down it. It is always in disrepair. I mean, you could actually go fishing in this hole. At the end of this road is an apartment complex that has a black family resident who can't even access their road. They have to go the other way. You think maybe you might want to look into that? There's so many violations here of our Constitution, both Texas and state, and we're letting them get away with it. And the fact is, they're passing the buck on to somebody else, and they've passed the buck on commissioners because that's what they were entitled. That's what they wanted to do as punishment, because they wouldn't sign off on a district attorney's salary that she wanted. And I don't think she deserved it either way. Look at the backlog of cases she has. She can't try cases. That's what a district attorney try cases, move the system. If they're guilty, boom, send them up the line. But what do? Oh, we're going to build a bigger jail so we can house more inmates for a longer period of time before they go to trial. Does that make any sense? And please tell me that we have an attorney who's actually practicing as a district attorney who can bring a case in 2 years. Who are we trying? The Rosenbergs? 2 years of litigation. Not one evidence, nothing, except for the fact is another continuance, an individual sitting in jail. So this is all that's on my mind this evening. There's probably more, but the fact is that I'm going to be making more videos because I have questions. As long as I have questions, then I'm still going to start asking. I'm still going to ask them. People think, well, what's in it? Your end game or whatever you want. No, I don't want to be popular. I don't want to run for office. I don't want to have nothing to do with county government or whatever. I want them to do their job. I'm 60 years old. I probably got maybe 5 years left. Doctor says maybe 5. Anyway, I'm going 5 more years. But anyway, the fact is that, you know what? I can't leave this county or any place to somebody else that's going to come along, some guy that's going to school now, going to graduate and inherit this mess. 8 years from now, there's going to be an individual who graduates from Huntington High School, Stephen F. Austin, or Lufkin, or Diboll, or whatever. And guess what? They're going to be incurring a debt that we produced by not taking care of our infrastructure and our road. A lot of people say, the world ain't right, the world's flat. Everybody leaves here, they don't come back. And it is the example set by our elected officials, and it's just the obvious corruption that's actually going on, and nobody asks why. Because the fact is, ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. There is nothing faster. We should actually have a track meet after commissioners meeting and put a time on how long it takes how long it takes some commissioners to disappear. Not elected by the public, don't anyone talk to them? I don't know. I think maybe just for shits and giggles, I'll go out there and just have a stopwatch and see how fast it takes every one of them to disappear. I try calling their office. They're never in their office. Well, what the hell are they doing? Can't be inspecting the roads. So anyway, this video will piss a lot of people off. I don't care, because the fact is, these are questions that need to be answered. These are legal questions that need to be answered, and they need to be fully explained to the citizens so we can remove all shadow of doubt. And if we do so, we're only going to benefit as citizens, because the fact is, we're going to make this place a little bit easier to live in. Make this for the people and by the people, not for we the elected. I think Thomas Jefferson said it best. I believe it was Thomas Jefferson. Don't quote me on this. Anyway, that was a revered politician. And he said it best. We've got a republic if you can keep it. Government is not your master. They are not in charge of you. They're in charge of the decisions that be made for the county, but they don't have to, you don't have to be stifled. You do not have to worry about asking questions. But you do here in Angelina County. Why? Because the repercussions are many. And we found that out on Friday night. An individual was put in jail, obviously some kind of distress, and he died in our jail. Do you want to go to county jail? Do you, if you're sick or you're diabetic or you have some kind of underlying condition, are you comfortable in the police recognizing that condition and actually saying, "Oh, you know what, this guy's diabetic"? Did they even know if this guy was allergic to anything? Who was the nurse that looked at him, who reported his vital signs were 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 normal 30 minutes before his death? I'm not going to accept excuses. We can't get good people anymore. I tell you what we need. Maybe we can. Maybe we don't need good people. Maybe we need people in there that are willing to go the extra mile and double check and actually be promoted upon the job they do instead of who they know. And a police force that is promoted based on education, based on continued training. And please don't let us have another Uvalde, because I know everybody's thinking about that, because our sheriff's office and our Lufkin Police Department able to actually handle a situation like that? And the answer is no. We're not even close. And we're not even making steps. People say, well, it can't happen here. I'm sorry, I'm from a different school. What if it does? I could go on that forever. But we don't take a wake-up call from other agencies or from other cities that are actually going through this, went through something that we can learn from. Can't tell us nothing we don't already know. Well, that right there has got us in trouble, because you're skipping some steps there. Anyway, that's all I got for this evening. Thank you for hanging in there. Hope you like and share. I'm going to share this everywhere that I can. I've got 5-6 pages that are in my civil rights pages, judicial conduct pages. All these, I'm gonna send them out to them because I've already discussed it with them. Whatever they're asking me, what the hell is going on here? Why do you have a judge and a DA working for the same county? I believe that they all should recuse themselves. I believe that they are not able to actually hold this individual and give him a fair trial, or others a fair trial if this situation has occurred before. The person who sets bail, who signs off on bail, is the same person, is married to the person that's trying the case. Don't get no clearer than that. And we accept it. You guys have a good evening. Sorry if I took too long or whatever. Sorry about my lighting. But anyway, hey, I'm a high-tech operation here. Anyway, shooting this out to you guys. You guys have likes, comments, whatever. But everybody in Angelina County, I didn't want to look at that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know the truth. Well, guess what? They're getting ready to slap you in the face. And you're going to be like, oh. Like our preacher says, you're getting ready to have a come Jesus moment. So better get ready.